Mr. Steve Taylor. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my man. It's Monday.
Dude, it's a loaded Monday.
You know, it is a loaded Monday. And where did I go? I went to a meeting this morning. Not a meeting. I make my rounds in the morning.
Yeah.
And the young lady at the desk asked me, "How was your day? You have a busy day?" And I said, "No, I don't."
You play a lot of golf. You play a lot of golf.
I said, and she laughed. She goes, "That's awesome." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know what? I don't have a busy day."
That's all right, though. You're living the life.
I'm living a life, and I'm not saying it like that, but I'm like, I don't. So why make some shit up?
Enjoying
Excuse
life.
my language. Yeah, why make it up? That's what I've been doing.
Don't worry, DP will FedEx you later.
I'm a guest though, right? I'm a guest. So I like being on the other side of the mic. I'm like, and I'm watching your intro. I'm like, I may have to step up my game, Bach. I don't know. These guys got notes and everything. So no, it's Monday, man. And actually, when she asked me that, I had to think about what day it was.
Oh yeah. Man, you are living the life. I know exactly what day it is every day. I don't know what's going on because I got 6 kids and I literally have to. My wife has to tell me and I have to write it down every. Like if you ask me what's going on Wednesday, don't ask me. Ask me tomorrow, and it's a 50% chance I'll know with all the kids stuff going on. I'm surprised you haven't made fun of my phenomenal shorts yet, but that's okay.
I haven't. I love it. I'm like, I need to retire. But see, you're bulky and I'm just fascinated how big you are, man.
I'll take bulky as a compliment.
Take up a lot. I mean, I can see you would take up a lot of space. I'm like, oh man. Like on the football field, like you can do a lot of damage. I'm like, I had no idea you were that big.
I appreciate it, man. The kind words are flowing.
It is. I'm like, I could play with him.
Hey, man, don't worry. I'm hard to offend. All right. Here's the deal. Dana frickin' Holgorsen is the offensive coordinator here at Nebraska. He'll be calling plays Saturday. Satterfield is going to focus solely on tight ends. What is Steve Taylor's instant because you just found out. What's your instant reaction?
Oh, it's a little too late. It's not too late.
Better late than never, but
I knew it was coming. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. And people look at me like I'm crazy. They really did. Yep. But that's one thing I liked about Rhule, that he was kind of positioning himself to make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
Now he did. Now I listened to your show, I think last week, and you were talking about this, and someone said Rhule does not like to make changes in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, okay, well, you know.
He said he won't do it in the past.
That's what he said. So I was like, but why? You should make the change. Why wait? Why go any longer with what you're doing? So I'm actually, now I'm feeling a little better about Rhule in that regard. That he's willing to do what it takes to get his team to where he needs to get to. And I always said that he was going to have to tweak his staff. And he's going to have to tweak a lot of things. So I'm pleased to see that he's making the effort. And he's doing the things that you need to do in order to get to where you want to get to.
I like it. So I still believe Matt Rhule is the guy. Obviously, maybe that was a little bit stronger at one point, but I do. My biggest question about him was,
you believe he's the guy? I hope he's the guy.
I do.
You do?
I do. Here's what I've said since the day he got hired. He's a good coach. I don't know if he's a great coach. I've said that since the day he got hired. He's proven he's a good coach.
I agree.
Do I believe he can eventually get us back to 8-9 win seasons over the next few years? I do. The record versus ranked teams is what it is. The overall record is what it is. He's going to hopefully get us back to being good to 8-9 wins, and then he'll have a chance to prove himself if he's a great coach and how far he can take us. No, I pulled up this little meme that was sent to me. You can see it. All right, at least we're not Florida State. They lost 52-3 to Notre Dame. Who else did say they fired their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and wide receivers coach? No, basically my biggest question with Rhule was, could he make the decision that I was very vocal. It's driving me nuts. It's so obvious what needs to happen.
Yes.
Is he too close? Are they too friendly? Can he make the decision that needs to be made? And I'm going to be honest with you. And I've said it's a crazy evaluation period the rest of the year, but it doesn't end with Satterfield.
It does not. No.
I don't think anything else will be done during the season, but at the end of the season, that evaluation period and the decisions are going to be tough again. But let's start with Holgorsen being the OC. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think Holgorsen? I know he's trying to simplify things. I know that for a fact. He's trying to learn their lingo and everything else, and now he's going to be calling the plays. But what are you hoping to see on Saturday now that he's calling plays? What's the biggest thing you want to see?
Consistency. I would like to see.
What's that look like, consistency, to you?
Unfortunately, is having a game plan.
Okay. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
With it.
Yeah.
And a rhyme to reason with what you're doing. And being a quarterback, when I see a game, I look at how he puts his players in a position to be successful.
Okay.
So we'll see how he handles the current roster with guys and what he does. And I'm at a point now in my life and my career. I don't do a lot of speculating. I build houses, so I spec houses. That's about all I'm going to do, right? But I'm going to wait to see what he does. Now, obviously, what he has done in the past will indicate what he may do in the future, right? And so we'll see. I think it's great. Right now, automatically, if I'm Rhule, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel good about some things. You're going to have this renewed energy. You're going to have this hope that this guy is going to step in and do some things to put you in a better position. And maybe he'll have a sit down with Dylan and say, hey, let's have a chat and look at it. These are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. What can I do to help you? What do you feel comfortable with? Not saying that he's going to do it, but at least get some feedback and then develop a game plan, a strategy to move forward.
I think that's imperative. I think just asking him, like, what are some of your favorite plays? Like, you don't have an entire offseason. You've got to get results quickly. So go straight to the guy, and ask him.
Yeah. Most offensive coordinators I've been with, and I've been fortunate enough to play with some really good ones. I really have in the CFL and obviously at Nebraska. So I've learned a lot in that regard. So I'm excited for him. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. If I'm Rhule, what am I going to do? I'm going to look to see what kind of moves Nebraska make. Because now, man, it's all about free agency. That's how I see things. I don't know how you look at things.
Nope, I get it.
I look at free agency. I want to put myself in the best position to play in the NFL, right? And it's business.
Yes,
it's
I get
business, right? So I got to look at Nebraska. How do I feel about Nebraska? Do I have a chance to succeed here, to get to where I want to get to? Are they willing to invest in me and what needs to happen around me in order for that to happen? I took a risk by coming here because he took a risk. He took a risk by coming here, developing a team versus going to an established team, right? So I'm happy for him. Now he has some new life, some new energy, and we're going to give this guy a chance, and he has 3 games. He has 3 games to say, okay, can I work with this? Do I trust this guy that he's going to get the pieces that I need? He's going to utilize my talents and put me in the best position possible to be successful and to be considered one of the best quarterbacks in college sports.
So I want to ask you, because I'll reiterate it again real quick.
I'm going to give you
I feel like he's a good coach. He's got to prove if he's a great coach or not. The biggest question mark I had was, could he make the tough decisions with some of the current coaches? I think we're starting to get some answers to those things. Talking about Matt Rhule. By the way, Andy Jurassic, who works for the Carriker Chronicle, so shout out to Andy, just asked me, so did Sack get fired? If you haven't heard, ladies and gentlemen, he's not fired. He's solely focusing on tight ends now. Demoted, yes, that is correct. Yes, that's the correct way to put it.
Because go ahead and finish what you're saying. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this helps me feel a little bit better about Matt Rhule. Seeing that he can make a decision 100%. Like this. This has to be hard, especially if you've coached with Satterfield and if you are friends for years. But it is what it is. Like you said, it's business. This is a billion-dollar business, multi-billion-dollar business now.
I honestly don't think it's that tough.
I don't either.
I really don't think it's that tough, man.
That's why I've been sitting here pounding the table for a month.
He should understand that. It's not. Man, this is college sports now is business.
It's always been a business. It's just more open about it.
It's been a business, but it's a different game now. And I've been preaching this for a long time. The whole narrative has changed when it comes to college sports. And I actually like it.
It's just more open and honest. It's always been a business.
I like it, right? I mean, that's why I get perturbed and livid and upset, even when I hear you say it. Talk about this bowl game stuff. I mean,
okay, so Nebraska doesn't go to a bowl game. You don't think it's that important?
No, it's not. Here's the reason why. You may disagree with me. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. How many years you play in the league?
8.
8, right? How many times you go to the playoffs?
Once.
When the season was over and you were not going to the playoff, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
I was mad I wasn't in the playoffs.
You were mad, right?
Yes.
So what you want to do?
I wanted to go to the playoffs.
I know it. You want to work out in the offseason.
Well, yeah, I want to get better.
You want to look at the season.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to go play any more games. You want to reevaluate. What do I have to do to get better? What can we do to get better? Right? Because you got all the time in the world. You're done. You're not good enough. You didn't make the cut. I make the playoffs every year except for 1 year.
Finish your thought. You're not wrong.
No, I thought about this. I'm like, there's only one time I didn't make the playoffs in the CFL. Only one time. Right? And that one time, I couldn't wait to go home. The season was done. Right? I mean, you play because you play for your contract. You play just in case if that coach gets fired, that the other coach coming in will look at game tape.
It's your job. Yeah.
It's your job.
Yeah.
You're a professional. That's what you do. But other than that, I want to go home. Season's done.
I get it.
It's over. I want to stay healthy. I want to get my mind right. I want to get back in. I want to do whatever I got to do and look forward to the next year. So that's how I see college sports today. And that's why I get upset when people say, well, we're going to go to. So you go to some ridiculous bowl that no one cares about. No one's watching. The narrative is now you want to be in contention to make the playoffs.
I agree with everything you said.
That's all I'm saying. So
I agree with everything you said.
I tell people, take your 6 or 7 wins. Take them. Take them right now. Take your 6 or 7 wins. What is that going to get you?
I agree with everything you said.
Okay.
But this season is different, and it's a one-time exception. I've said this on the show, and Jake,
how is this season different?
Tell the people if I'm lying. I've said in the future, I'm not going to sit here and talk about bowl games.
Okay,
I said after this season, I'm going to talk about the college football playoff, especially it's going to 14 teams in 2 years. Then it's probably going to be 94 within 3 years because they can make more money. It's a joke. Don't look at me like I'm serious. Okay, they're going to keep expanding it. It's going to be 16 within 4 years.
It's going to be great.
And then eventually there's going to be divisions. Yeah. Then there's going to be division championship games. It's years down the road.
I'm so excited.
It's what I see coming. For right now, are we going to make a playoff?
No,
we're not. So for right now, Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in so long.
Okay.
It means something now. Once we make a bowl game, which is by God, hopefully this year, it's not going to mean anywhere near as much, and now we're going to look forward. So to me, I agree with everything you said.
I'm going to give you that.
After this year.
I'm going to give you that.
Does that make sense?
I will give you a pass on that.
A pass?
I'll give you a pass. I'm not going to agree with you.
He said a pass.
I'm going to give you a pass just because you're younger than me. I'm going to give you a pass.
and I have baggier shorts. All right. All right, so I asked you a question before the break. How do you feel about Rhule now as compared to a week ago, or even 30 minutes ago? You didn't know this 30 minutes ago.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I feel good about it.
Much better?
First of all, I go on record. I like Rhule.
I do too.
And I think Rhule has a good chance to be successful here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how successful, I really don't know. I was becoming a little bit concerned before this move because it needed to happen.
Yep.
But I give him a pass. It could be
just
a friend or
passes,
whatnot,
right?
Yeah.
Hall pass to the wife. Does that happen?
In the end, he made the decision.
He ignored it.
And he didn't make it too late. So I feel much better now that he got some skin in the game. I really would have liked it if he would have called the plays. I would have really been impressed.
He's a former quarterbacks coach at one point.
Impressed,
former offensive coordinator.
If he could have done that and still, but I get it. If he trusts this guy and he can do it, then I'm all for it. But I really would have liked to see Rhule do it.
I threw that out there at one point too. But long term, he's not going to. You can't.
No, not
I don't know
long-term.
if you can anymore as a head coach.
No, well, I think
in college football today, the way it is,
you probably. I don't know.
Like Lincoln Riley, I think is, but
Sarkisian does it.
It's hard though.
It is
you got to be.
You
got so much more to do than you ever did.
I agree with you, but I thought it could be a good interim to get through the season.
Yeah.
That's all, and then that way you can really see if this guy is the right guy, because you hate to have to make another decision, right? That's what I'm saying. So I'm good with it, and I feel very good about Coach Rhule. I really do.
I thought my only question that I was starting to get, because he's never had success per se beyond, and with all due respect to the Big 12, but it's not the Big 10. It's not the SEC. He hadn't had success there. I don't equate the NFL success or lack thereof to college. It's a different game. Look at Saban, look at Urban, look how that went, and look how they did in college.
Here's where we're going to differ too. I'm not a big conference guy. I don't care about conferences. I don't
think it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
But I think it matters based on the competition you're going to face and the level of coaching. I've sat in coaches' offices up there, and they've looked me in the eye and they've said the coaches in this conference are different. And I took that as we're being out-coached, which they were. This was like 4 years ago, by the way. He was an offensive side of the ball type coach. And he basically, they're really smart in the Big Ten. They're really smart everywhere. But if you watch like certain things, the Big Ten as a whole doesn't have 14, 15 top 25 recruiting classes every year like the SEC does. The SEC does every year. Yet we can compete with them.
Yeah, we're talking different things when I say I don't look at conferences as far as like what you have to do in each conference in order to be successful. I look at it in its totality of what you have to do in the game of football to be successful, regardless of what conference that you're playing in. So that's how I look at conferences.
I do think some things are a little different from conference to conference.
Some
things vary. Well, there are some conferences like the old Big 12. It's not so much now, but the old Big 12, there was so much scoring, so much passing. You couldn't walk in with your prototypical 3-4, 4-3 defense, you're going to be a nickel 90% of the time. So you might as well just prepare for that. But you can't bring nickel to the Big Ten and think you're going to stop old school Wisconsin, Iowa, or Harbaugh's Michigan. Does that make sense?
But that's game planning, though. That's what I'm saying. That's game planning.
Yeah, but you're going to overarch your program game plan based on who the majority of your opponents are, too. My thing with Rhule, I think we got the sidebar here.
I'm an offensive guy, and the reason why I said it because
defenses don't change as much as the offenses you face, and I'm a defensive guy. That's why I'm an offensive
guy. We want to make defenses change.
You're going to look at it differently than me.
That's why I
went straight to the offense.
Yeah, even when I was at Nebraska, we did the same thing. We made teams adapt to us. What we're doing.
Well, defense is about reading, reacting, and then playing with relentless violence. That's why your guys' playbook was like this, and ours was like this.
And then when it got tough, it went like this.
Oh, for sure.
They simplify it. Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at is Rhule has yet to prove he can have consistent success against like ranked teams.
Against a good team.
He has losing records versus teams with just winning records, not even ranked. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I believe he's a good coach. How high his ceiling is remains to be seen. That's all I'm saying.
When I heard that statistic, that was a little alarming. It was. When I heard that.
I've got more in-depth statistics I'm saving for a show down the road that I hope I never have to use, by the way. But all I was going to get at is the only thing that was really bothering me was he wasn't pulling the trigger on obvious decisions. Now he has. Now I feel a little bit better. He's still got a lot to prove. We still got to do a lot of things, but I feel better.
I'm with you 100%. I do. I feel much better. And I want just some of the things I want to talk to you about. Because this past week was great. This past week was not having a Husker game was really good. I mean, it was in every aspect there was.
Did you see Will Compton's Twitter? We lost a bye week. A guy sent him a thing. We lost a bye week. He goes, "Who did this? Delete this." Go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. No, it was really nice, and I got a chance to watch other teams and watch other players and what they're doing and everything. And I was sitting there thinking, here we are at Nebraska. We're so far behind. Like we are so far away because here we are trying to assimilate a staff. I mean, you really think about it. We're trying to simulate a staff. We're not talking about beating a good team or strategizing and this, and this. We're trying to just get the basics. We really are. And that's how far behind we are.
I agree.
And that takes, unfortunately, it takes a lot more time than what we want to really admit. But
so you've
that's
said
where we are.
A bowl game isn't a big priority to you for this year. So what can they can't make the playoffs. So what would be a successful season these last 3 games to you then? How can they make it a successful season?
I'm not saying the last 3 games are a waste. Not at all.
What would make it a successful season in these last 3 games? What would they have to do?
Oh, man. It would like to see if they could upset someone, like what you talked about. Yeah. Be in the game. Be competitive. I mean, really be in the game where it came down to the wire. Show some grit. Show some guts. Be organized. Be prepared. And look like a football team. The product that we've seen has not been, in my opinion, is unacceptable. It's just the reality of it. It's unacceptable.
Not going to argue.
And there's no other way to get around it.
I'm not going to argue.
Especially when I look and watch other teams and what they're doing. I see the talent of these other teams. I mean, did you watch Georgia Tech and you see that quarterback?
Yes.
There are a lot of good players all over the place. We need to get them here in Nebraska. We need a good, solid coaching staff that knows what they're doing. So
I agree.
That's what I say. And it's nothing against these guys.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not personal.
Not at all.
Never personal.
It's just business.
Yes.
And you play pro, I play pro, wherever it was. And the bottom line is that you either produce or you are released.
That's what I was talking about.
About it.
At the end of this season, there's more tough decisions coming. That's what I was saying.
And I'm glad to see that Rhule is doing it. I think Rhule has character. I think Rhule has, quote, the salesmanship. I don't know too much about his X's and O's. You know more. You know more about him than what I do. I can watch his product and what they do and everything. I see his track record and everything. So I think, at the time it was a good hire, whoever was out there, right? Whoever it was, he was a good hire in that regard. So now it's just a matter of I'm going to watch and look at his work and what he builds and the decisions that he made. And it's nothing against the team. It's nothing against Satterfield or anyone.
Not at all.
It's just that's my standard. That's my approach. Even with my business in real estate as a general contractor builder, I got subs that work for me, and I got to make sure I got good ones, and the ones that are not good, I get rid of them. I got to make sure I handle my business and take care of what I need to do financially and the whole construction, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm responsible for that. It starts with me, just like with Rhule. So I like that we have a chance to be successful. But we got to get it done. I mean, this guy in Indiana did it in whatever, right? And I know there's Cinderella years, and sometimes when people don't expect things, it's easier to be successful. You know that, right? So it can be done.
I agree. Did I agree with everything? I don't have a whole lot to add to that.
I'm 99% right all the time. I tell my wife that, and very seldom I'm wrong, but I'm
going to agree with you about 49% of the time on that.
And I like you, you know what you're talking about, so that's good.
Dude, I'm so glad you came. I love your honesty. You bring guests on, and some guys just don't, they're afraid of confrontation to the point where they almost just agree with everything you say. I feel like we can agree, we can disagree, and at the end of the day, we can laugh about it because we have the same goal, which was we want Nebraska to be the best it can possibly be. You summed it up great. And the only thing I would add, and I've said this before, I've said, just take a plumber as an example, okay? Yeah. Nobody feels bad for the plumber who gets let go that can't fix the pipes. It's just business. It is what it is, okay? There's going to be decisions that have to be made. Hopefully, these last 3 games, oh my God. Dude, if go into a bowl game, get to 7-5, whatever the case may be, I now got an extra pep